Have you ever heard about moments in Formula One so shocking that they made people freeze? Today, we're counting down the top 20 most insane Formula One crashes ever caught on camera. These are not just accidents. They are moments that shook fans and even changed the sport forever. These crashes remind us how dangerous F1 really is. Each crash has its own dramas and lessons. If you are as curious as I am, let us dive in without any further ado. Number 1. Romain Grosjean. The Bahrain Grand Prix. In 2020 gave us a moment no fan will ever forget. Romain Grosjean clipped Daniil Kvyat's AlphaTauri on the very first lap. His Haas shot across the track and slammed into the barrier at over 190 kilometers per hour. The impact was huge and split the car in half, igniting a massive fireball. For 28 seconds, Grosjean was trapped inside the flames. Miraculously, he pulled himself out, with burns on his hands, but alive. The survival cell rescued him, and the bravery that they had was commendable. All the fans were in horror when they witnessed this. Fans watched this in horror, all while asking what if he wasn't able to get out of the car in time. But this crash shook the world entirely. Well, if you thought that was crazy, wait until you hear about the next crash. Number 2. Robert Kubica. Kubica was racing at full speed when he clipped Jarno Trulli's car. This happened during the 2007 Canadian Grand Prix. His BMW Sauber hit the grass, bounced violently, and slammed into the wall at more than 143 miles per hour. The car flew into the air and rolled multiple times, just like a movie scene. It finally came to rest as a mangled wreck. Viewers gasped when they saw the front of the car destroyed. But against all odds, Kubica survived with just a concussion and a sprained ankle. Number 3. Mark Webber. But Mark Webber's crash in the 2010 European GP was something straight out of an action movie. He tried to pass Heikki Kovalainen at high speed, but contact sent Webber's car flying into the sky. The Red Bull rolled over, flipped, and smashed into the barriers, and it bounced back onto the track. It was like his car turned into a flying missile. And yet Webber got out unhurt. He later admitted, "That's racing, you get back in the car." Well, it was nothing to him. But the fans, they were terrified. Number 4. Felipe Massa. Well, not all crashes come from wheel-to-wheel battles. In Hungary in 2009, Felipe Massa was hit in the helmet by a suspension spring that flew off Rubens Barrichello's car. He was traveling at nearly 155 miles per hour, and Massa had no chance to react. The spring struck his visor and knocked him unconscious. His car plowed into the barriers. The accident nearly ended his life and career. Massa survived, but he missed the rest of the season. F1 considered the safety of the helmet and visor after this crash. Number 5. Fernando Alonso. Now we have Fernando Alonso. He has been part of many dramatic crashes. But the crash that happened at the 2016 Australian GP was much worse. After contact with Esteban Gutierrez, Alonso's McLaren flew into the air and flipped multiple times. It tore itself apart, and it was stopped upside down at the barrier. Fans thought it was all over, but Alonso crawled out and waved to the crowd. Number 6. Luciano Burti. Luciano Burti's 2001 Spa crash was indeed terrifying. After colliding with Eddie Irvine, Burti's car lost control and slammed into the tire barrier at nearly 300 kilometers per hour. The force buried his car deep into the barrier. The marshals were scrambling to free him. He was unconscious and was suffering from head injuries. Thankfully, he recovered, but his F1 career ended shortly after. Number 7. Rubens Barrichello. Imola 1994 is remembered for tragedy, but Rubens Barrichello's qualifying crash was fatal. He hit a curb at high speed and launched into the air. He smashed into the barriers and his car flipped and landed upside down. Barrichello was knocked out cold. Medical teams rushed to save him. He He survived with only a broken nose and a sprained wrist. Number 8. Jenson Button. Jenson Button's crash in practice at Monaco 2003 showed how quickly things can go wrong on the tightest track in F1. He lost control through the swimming pool section and slammed hard into the barriers. The impact was so violent that he was ruled out of the race. Number 9. Martin Brundle. The 1996 Australian Grand Prix gave us a wild moment when Martin Brundle crashed heavily on the first lap. His Jordan was launched into the air in a multi-car collision. It rolled violently and was destroyed, but Brundle simply climbed out, jumped back to his spare car, and restarted the race. But the fans were in disbelief after seeing everything. Number 10. Derek Warwick. At Monza in 1990, Derek Warwick's Lotus slammed into the barriers after an error caused by the driver. His car flipped and skidded along the track upside down. Warwick was uninjured and ran back to the pits to get into the spare car for the restart. His bravery became legendary, but his crash showed how fragile things were before modern safety. Number 11. Niki Lauda. Perhaps this could be the most famous crash in F1 history. At the Nürburgring, Niki Lauda lost control, hit the wall, and his Ferrari burst into flames. Other drivers stopped to pull him out, but Lauda suffered severe burns to his face and lungs. His willpower was way above all these. Yes, he returned to racing just 6 weeks later. Number 12. David Coulthard. Spa 1998 gave us one of the biggest pileups in F1 history. In heavy rain, Coulthard lost control at the start, and this caused a chain reaction. 13 cars were destroyed in this. Later in the same race, Schumacher collided with Coulthard in a dramatic and dangerous crash. The chaos of that day is still remembered as one of F1's craziest moments. Number 13. Michael Schumacher. Even the great Michael Schumacher wasn't immune to disaster. At Silverstone 1999, his brakes failed and he slammed into the barriers at high speed. He broke his leg, which forced him to miss much of the season. Number 14. Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's crash with Max Verstappen at Monza 2021 showed how the halo saves lives. Verstappen's Red Bull literally landed on top of Hamilton's Mercedes. The rear wheel bounced off Hamilton's helmet. Without the halo, it could have been fatal. Hamilton survived with only a sore neck. It was the perfect proof of why modern safety matters. Number 15. Zhou Guanyu. Zhou's crash at the 2022 British GP was terrifying. After contact at the start, his Alfa Romeo flipped upside down and skidded across the track at full speed. It flipped over the tire barrier and lodged between the fence and the barrier, but Zhou climbed out unharmed. Number 16. Heikki Kovalainen. Kovalainen's crash in Barcelona in 2008 was brutal. There was a front tire failure, and this sent him straight into the barriers at nearly 240 kilometers per hour. The McLaren buried itself into the tire wall, and he was trapped inside it. After a long rescue, he was pulled out with a concussion but no serious injuries. Number 17. Max Verstappen. Before Monza, Verstappen had his own terrifying crash at Silverstone 2021. After contact with Hamilton, Verstappen's Red Bull slammed into the barriers at 51 Gs, and it was one of the highest impacts ever recorded. He was sent to the hospital immediately, and he survived the crash. Number 18. Gilles Villeneuve. Now we have one of the most tragic crashes in history. At Zolder in 1982, Gilles Villeneuve collided with Jochen Mass during qualifying. His Ferrari was launched into the air and was disintegrated on impact. Villeneuve was thrown from the car and lost his life due to a fatal neck injury. Number 19. Pastor Maldonado. Maldonado earned the nickname Crash Tour for a reason. In 2012 alone, he crashed out of multiple races. His crashes weren't always fiery, but they were chaotic, unpredictable, and dangerous for others on the track. Number 20. Mick Schumacher. In qualifying at Jeddah 2022, Mick Schumacher lost control at over 270 kilometers per hour and smashed into the barriers. The impact destroyed his Haas completely. Marshals worked immediately. These are the 20 most insane Formula One crashes ever caught on camera. So what do you think about these guys? Which crash shocked you the most? Let us know your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure you show us your love by giving us a thumbs up. And for more similar content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.